A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this collective reading. In this collective reading, I would be answering a question. Rather, this is a download which I received long time back. Then I remember making a video on walk-ins. However, this is also another advanced version of it. And I've been told that people who feel that their twin flame has got swapped with another person are going to resonate with it. For example, you were with somebody for a good amount of time and you know that it was not a false twin journey. It was very intense, it was very real, it was very profound. You do know that you loved that person and that person loved you, but the biggest problem was that the other person was not willing to continue in the inner work journey, or they were not willing to give up on the illusions or on the meaningless things they were doing which were making them earthbound. So that other person is also intelligent enough. They know the spiritual concepts really well. They understand a lot of things and they may have even introduced you to certain subjects. And in some cases, you might have been very impressed by the amount of research they had done on these esoteric subjects, metaphysics, and probably this person also believed, in some cases, not in all cases, believed in the concept of twin flames and felt that you and that person has the most beautiful connection, most real connection. However, when they went through crisis stage, which is not easy, and then they witnessed runner chaser dynamic, they were not able to let go of their codependencies, of their laziness, or whatever you want to call it, like some bad habits, some addiction patterns. They were just not willing to work more than that. Like that was their own choice. How we say free will. So they opted out of it. And while you did not want to opt out of it, they may have told you that, if you fulfill certain conditions that they have kept, or if you do certain things that they wanted you to do, then they are going to be around you and it will all work out. But you had done enough amount of inner work even before you met them, and due to a lot of reasons, you did not resonate with whatever they were telling you. Like, you had actually evolved to a certain level, and you did not see it coming from a superiority complex. You did not see it like your twin flame is a bad person or they are inferior to you. On the contrary, I feel that a lot of you let them go and forgave them. They may have cheated on you, they may have hurt you, they may have betrayed you, they may have put you through a lot of difficult situations, they may have put you through a lot of pain, and it might have broken your soul. You could have gone through a dark night of the soul and maybe you recovered from it, but it probably could have taken a year, 2 years also in some cases, to just realize that this is it. They cannot do more than this. It's just not possible for them to go ahead in this journey, in the ascension journey. And they understand everything. So when a person understands everything, but they still don't want to let go of certain bad habits, they don't want to let go of their ego, and they want to continue living in the superiority complex or maybe inferiority complex. Maybe it is covert narcissism that they carry along with them. Let me also clarify here, since we have spoken so much about narcissism, there is also something called good narcissism or healthy narcissism. If you want to know more about it, please drop a comment below and let me know. Also, type I am present with your location if you resonate with this particular channeling. If you also feel curious, and as we go further, if you keep, you know, feeling a connect with whatever this download is all about, then do talk about your story and share it with other people, because there is a misconception or there's a misconfusion that there's only one twin flame for you. Personally, I don't think it is 100% correct, because it cannot be in all cases. Secondly, we are not born in Satyug or Treta Yug. We are born in the transition time, which is now we are in ascending Dwapar. So in ascending Dwapar, it is still, the dark ages has just passed by, and yet people don't know about asexuality or brahmacharya. Yet the education system is very toxic in some parts of the world. Yet there is a lot of distortion in masculine and feminine. But at the same time, there is a huge improvement, because in the last 20 years, a lot of technological advancement has happened, and women power is coming ahead, because once you enter ascending Dwapar, it is a time of Shakti. It is a time of Shakti, and Shakti's rise means we are going to go to golden age. And when Shakti is on the low, like Shakti is declining, that's when the masculine energy has to take control, and which is why Shiva, Rama, and Krishna, Ram, Lord Shri Ram, and Shri Krishna had to manage so much, because in the descending times it is the masculine who has to take care of everything, but in the ascending time it is the feminine who gets to manage everything. So both of them actually help each other, both energies, so that the earth can go to a point where it can reset all over again, and then the whole thing happens all over again. But it's not gonna happen in a day or two. And let me also tell you, a lot of people are not bound by these time cycles or yuga cycles. A lot of people have their own inner yuga cycle going on. So even if in the outside world it is dark age, some of the people find golden age within themselves, and then they experience golden age even during the darkest times on earth. And these people are very special. A lot of times you must have heard that twin flames are here to raise the vibration of the planet. And this is why they can raise the vibration of the planet, because they can generate that energy within. They are here to move from duality to singularity. Twin flames, star seeds, light workers, anybody who is on ascension journey, anybody who can detach from the earthly, the worldly world, and still be in the worldly world. Anyone who can generate their lotus energy. Lotus energy is the energy which actually comes from lotus plant only, like it's symbolic of it, which is why we see so many gods and goddesses sitting on the lotus, because not only it is symbolic of this energy, but lotus is also seen as the flower that helps in interdimensional travel. Yes, so you can travel via the lotus energy. So you are in the water, where if you are the lotus flower, you are in the water, but not even a drop of water stays on you. That is how an ascensioner lives on planet Earth. You're living on the earth, you're here in the Maya, there is the illusion everywhere, but still you're not touched by it, you're not affected by it. You are living like a person who can see clearly. And people who can understand truth, they don't have to fight it out with other people. Like, they don't have to, when I say fight it out, I'm not saying you cannot have a actual fight or a war. Also you can, because my master very beautifully says that many people do not really understand. It's very hard to understand the actual meaning of violence and non-violence. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, it is explained very well when Arjun says that I will not kill my family members, or I will not go against my own people. Lord Shri Krishna says that this is your duty. You have to follow this path. And he says, this is the path of ahimsa, non-violence, that I want to follow. So Shri Krishna very beautifully explains throughout Srimad Bhagavad Gita that non-violence is not always about, ahimsa is not always about just sitting still and not doing anything. Sometimes by sitting still and not doing anything, we do much more harm. We do much more negativity we generate. So one has to understand, and that's why in Hindi it says in Sanskrit actually it says very beautifully. The complete phrase is hinsa paramo dharma, dharma hinsa tadaiva cha, which means that it is really good to be, it's righteous to be into the path of ahimsa, However, when you have to take a stand for dharma, and dharma doesn't mean religion, dharma means duty. So in the English language, this is what they created, the British colonizers. They used the word religion and they confused the world. But in Sanatan Dharam never means religion. It actually means our duty. Now, it is seen with a lot of twin flames, people who are in the ascension journey, that they are very high on moral values. They are very good human beings. Moralistically, they don't like to do anything wrong. They don't like to hurt people unnecessarily, or they don't want to be selfish. They don't want to deceive others. They don't want to betray others. This is something they have since childhood. And sometimes they feel that, it would be so much better to be a normal person, to be dishonest or to be selfish, but they can't be. So even when their own twin flames, the love of their life, and here I'm talking about the romantic connections, even if it's a non-romantic connection and your twin flame says that I just want to leave you and I want to do my own thing, or they found someone else, or they found someone else long back but they never told you about it, they kept that person on standby, and then they thought that you should be on standby and that person should get more time with them, and you never realized when from standby they discarded you. So in some cases, the supposed twin flame or the person you have given the twin flame, you can say, label in your life, that person can be selfish, might have acted selfishly, but you were not like that. You were like, okay, if you want to be happy, if this person makes you happy, then I wish you both best of luck, and you let them go. And I've also seen with some people, they have a very harmonious connection with their twin flame. Like they talk to each other, they, they are on phone. Sometimes they can even meet. And I'm not going to talk about my personal things here. For that, you can get into a personal session with me if you want more motivation about harmonization and illumination. But it definitely happens with a lot of people that sometimes they can even arrange their twin flames marriage, the supposed twin flames marriage, or anyone they've been in love with, or anyone they've felt a soulmate connection with, because they feel that the other person will not be happy with them and they will never be able to complete their mission work. And I'll tell you, it is not like, yeah, you want to do your mission work and you can do it. These things only happen, like you living your original signature frequency will only happen when you have done healing work, when you have released the traumas from your DNA system, when you have released the strong bond you have with the negative memories. When the bond is broken, when the healing is done, when the DNA is healed, only then you would naturally and organically do what you're here to do. Before that, you cannot, like, you would want to, I mean, this is not just you specifically, but in general, someone wants to change their routine, someone wants to eat healthy, and someone wants to exercise, or someone wants to wake up on time every day, or do their meditation, do their practice, live holistically, fulfill their dreams, or just be natural. But they cannot be, even if the intention is there to do so, because there are so many distortions, there's so many aberrations, or there's so many pain bodies, or so many wounds. So now when these wounds are still fresh, they are not healed, then you cannot. And you must have noticed a lot of you actually changed drastically without any effort. Like if maybe 10 years back someone would tell you to leave non-vegetarian food, or stop drinking or smoking, or just quit any bad habit, you might not have probably done it so easily. You might have questioned that person, you might have had some debate, or you might have said, no, this is not correct, or this information, or even if you agreed with them, you would have found it very difficult. But when the kundalini starts rising, it changes people automatically. You can just bump into some audio, video, some book, some channel. You can bump into some piece of information, and you're like, oh my god, this is actually correct for me, and you just shift. Things just happen on its own. Or for example, some of the people have told me personally, that they've been wanting to get into a reading or a therapy with me, but it was not happening. Someone even told me that they had written to me multiple times, but I never responded. And I was like, I always respond to people if I see. So then I asked them to resend me the mail or give me their mail ID. And I saw that there were so many mails that they had written to me, but it was all in spam. It had not even reached me, and why it didn't reach me, that is still a mystery. And obviously it happened at the divine timing, the right divine timing, when it was meant to happen. So a lot of things actually happen at the right time, at the right place, but they happen. But to make you be in sync with those situations, you have to actually become like super chill. And when I say super chill, it doesn't mean you become a vegetable. Like, I've also seen some of the people have this misconception about twin flames, that just because they are spiritual, they are like potatoes and tomatoes and anyone can just come and cut them and just walk away. No, people misunderstand this. People misunderstand their, truthfulness, their honesty to be some kind of bad behavior. They say, oh, you cannot behave this way, you cannot talk this way because you're a spiritual person. So this is where I really loved what my master says, because my master always gives or sends me those discourses at the perfect time. My master is not physically around anymore, so we have a very unique way of communication. So whenever I'm in doubt, whenever I have these questions, he always has a very detailed explanation for me. Sometimes it comes via downloads, very esoteric downloads, very mystical situations. Sometimes it's a complete situation that takes like a week, 10 days, but by the end of it, when it culminates, the whole lesson is received in a very practical way. So this whole, thing that people say that spiritual people should behave a certain way, the violence or the anger or this and that should not be displayed, I think it is all coming from people who are not yet there. They need to be there, or they need to face the betrayal, the negativity more, or they need to go through certain more situations where they have to stand up and they have to do something about it. When their soul can no longer take it, it's literally like when the caterpillar is turning into butterfly, there is an internal force that takes place, and that internal force cannot be called violence, it cannot be called anger, it cannot be called whatever, but it's called like pushing through. And if you're pushing through, you cannot do it like, very softly and very gently, like, let's just get out of this place and become a butterfly. It's not like that. It's a painful process. And so I think in this particular download, what I'm being told is that whosoever resonates with it has gone through a lot of those moments where they had to, maybe stand against their own people, wage a war. They've gone through a lot of rage, they've gone through a lot of pain, they've gone through a lot of frustrating moments just to understand or just to be in sync with their signature DNA code. They had to go through all of this, and when they reached all of that, after going through so many tower moments and after going through so many ego deaths, finally when they reach that point, and the twin flame, whosoever it is, comes along and says that you don't have to do this. If you want to be with me, then you have to be this way or that way, the way I tell you, or the way which is the worldly way, the sansaric way. And then I think a lot of twin flames cannot abide by it. It's like a very practical, organic thing. Maybe there's a silent a break they take, or maybe they just clearly tell the conditions that, look, for example, the person who's resonating with all of this, you, for example, you believe in God and you follow certain rituals or you follow certain routines, okay, to practice your affection or your devotion, but your twin flame says that they cannot do it, or they don't believe in it. Now this, for you have reached that place after a lot of situations you've gone through in life, and finally you're like 100% sure, like, this is it, this is my thing. And someone you love so much, so deeply, so intensely says, like, if you want to be with me, you cannot be this person, you have to be what I tell you to be. So you're like, well, I cannot be that anymore because I've already grown from that. there's an interesting post I had shared on a photo ID. It was a picture of a caterpillar, but on the car, on the driver's seat, a butterfly was sitting, and the traffic policeman was checking the photo ID and asking that person, well, this photo ID doesn't look like your photo ID. And the butterfly says, well, that was my past, that is my old photograph. So same thing happens with twin flame. They grow so much sometimes, and they grow much faster than other people. I mean, for them it could be very subtle and slow, but for other people it is a fast paced growth, and they cannot cope up with them. So in these cases, what I'm being told, that you might have a feeling that your twin flame has swapped into someone else who is more inner work oriented, who is more like you, who is more calm and peaceful and accepting. Maybe you've also had some difficulties with this person, but still it's not like going into a dark pit every time. It's not that egocentric kind of a thing. There is a lot of forgiveness and acceptance. There is no superiority complex, or even if it's there, it is less. Maybe there is narcissism, but it is less. But yeah, there is a certain responsibility that you see this person lives their lives with. They are taking the responsibility of their own actions. They are taking responsibility for their own inner work. They are taking responsibility for their own growth. They are even taking responsibility for their own triggers. They are managing their triggers much better than what your person was doing. So you feel that probably that energy has got shifted into another person. Your inner work is still continuing. You don't know about your twin flame, what's happening with the person, where they are, who they are with, what they are doing, because now the cord connection cannot take place. Like, you have passed that frequency, you have passed that vibration. Vibrationally, you are very far away. So they cannot impact you. And when they cannot impact you, like for example, they chose someone else over you. Maybe when you started dating this person 10 years back, 7 years back, 8 years back, or whatever your number was, 2 years, 3 years back, it used to really affect you. Every time they would cheat on you, or they would lie to you, or every time they would talk about someone else, you would feel jealous and envious. But 7, 8 times, 7, 8 cycles of runner chaser dynamic, the jealousy was gone, the pain was gone. You became like a person with Teflon coating, or you became like titanium. Now nothing is impacting you. They can talk to someone, they can go to a party, they can do whatever they want to do, they can talk to other people on phone, they can laugh, giggle. It doesn't affect you. You've become so accepting. You're like, okay, if that makes you happy, then do it. You're not questioning them anymore. So when you're not giving them that reaction, maybe they go crazy and they go so upset that they say, hey, I'm going to teach you the biggest lesson of your life, and I'm going to find someone, and I'm going to tell you about it. Or they sometimes take a drastic move, like they take a very big step just out of sheer frustration or not getting a reaction. And I think that step also hurts you, but by the time you've learned to manage it much better, and you don't feel anything, and you feel like, okay, maybe this is what it is, then it's not gonna happen so soon. Maybe it's a karmic connection. They have to go through this karmic connection. They have to figure out that I was much more nicer to them, and the world is not that nice. People are not that nice. No one takes so much from anyone. And again, you're not doing it in a negative way. In some cases, it could be possible that you are the one who has taken ownership for everything, and you probably feel that maybe you don't deserve this person and you're not good enough for this person, but in a positive way. Maybe you feel that you and the other person is just constantly bringing out negativity from each other, or negative points of each other. So now you feel like, you want to be a more positive person, you want to be a more relaxed person. So you have accepted it all. You've seen them with someone else. You've seen them probably, do all the romantic stuff that they used to do with you at one time, or whatever could have hurt you. You have seen everything, and it doesn't bother you. Now, for those people who have not been in very close proximity with their twin flame after all of this happened in La La Land, you probably stalked them. You probably saw that these things online, whatever they were doing, maybe on their Facebook or Instagram or some other place. They were sharing it, some WhatsApp display pictures or something else, like some social construct where they were displaying these things, and you were just a witness to it, you were just observing it, and it was hurting you, but at the same time it was amusing you. But at the same time it was like, I do feel the pain, but it's a sweet pain, and it's okay, like if the other person wants to be happy, because you yourself are struggling with things, and finally you found peace with yourself. Finally you found that point where you accept yourself much more. Finally you are friends with your own self. You're not getting upset. I mean, you do have phases, we all have those phases, but it's not the way it used to be. You know that you have improved a lot, a lot. What you were 5 years back, or 10 years back, or even 1 year back, you're not the same person anymore, and you love your own peace. You love, I mean, please raise your hands if you love your own solitude, your own peace, if you love your own company, if you're just so happy to be out of the drama, if you're happy to be out of all the nonsensical things that were happening, unnecessary things that you were putting your mind, your energy, your money, your love. You just used to feel at times that this is just so unnecessary and so nonsensical. It is not even required. Maybe if it was not your twin flame, then the family members, the mothers, the sisters, the ladies, or maybe the men, for men who had these experiences with their feminine partners, and they were going through a lot of dramatic situations which they felt was just not necessary. And sometimes I will tell you this thing, that when you are in a very worldly setup, in a sansaric setup, even with your own family members, you cannot take it for too long. It can be even small things like their music choice, or the way they decorate their house, or the way they live, or the way they have their furniture. uh, there could be so many things where you feel this is absolutely unnecessary, or even if you accept them, you're not very comfortable in that vibration or that frequency. You feel that this is not the place you want to be, with all due respect to them, because you cannot explain yourself so much. And in some cases I feel that some of you feel that when you're around these people, you are also seeking their validation, or you also end up, in those moments you also end up talking like them, or behaving like them, acting like them, which you don't like. You don't like that side of you, don't like that aspect of you which was seeking their validation, or which was codependent on them. And then you are like, you want to be out of it asap. You want to be back to who you are, back to reality, your reality. And these type of experiences have also come from either the twin flame or your own family. So you could see the patterns even in your own connections, even in your own self. So we don't always have to blame outside parties. We can also look for the problem within us, the flaws within us. So if you're getting triggered and you're reacting in a manner which is like a pattern that needs to go away, or maybe you need to react better, you need to respond better, you need to take a stand, or you need to be more strong, or you need to be more bold, you need to be more, you get the point, you get the place I'm going to. So you have figured all of these things out, and based on these experiences, and if you have anything to add, please add in the comment section. If you feel that yes, there's one more point that you want to bring forth for other people to go through, then please add that too. So you feel you don't want to be in that zone, you don't belong there, you know and it's okay. I mean, they can be happy, and they can be happy without you. If they can be happy without you, why not? I mean, they all deserve to be happy, but you can't be happy in that setup. Like, you just can't be. So you feel that you made the right choice, and you made that choice after going through a lot, and after a lot of careful consideration, and after putting yourself into a lot of imbalances. Finally you're like, okay, now I found my center. I can channel my energy. I can do my own inner work. Finally, you feel that you can probably get into therapy, or you can get into mission work, or you can get into just being yourself, studying metaphysics, living a better life, just doing things that are very high vibrational in nature, not being so materialistic. Just when you're doing all these things, it can be anything: painting, singing, dancing. It can be just following your natural truth, being with animals, being in nature, or healing the planet. Like a lot of people, I have seen that when they're talking about their mission work, they want to do it at the beach, or they want to do it at the mountains, they want to do it in the nicer places, but the actual work is required in like very tough places. Like these cities need healing, but no one wants to be here in the cities. Or there are some places which are very dirty, which are very difficult, living conditions are there, but no one wants to work there, because everyone wants easy life. Twin flames are not like that. They have, or star seeds you can say, they have been so much with so many people. They've realized that they are much more happy when they are contributing. And when they are happily, selflessly contributing, that's when they create a lot of beauty around them. That's when things start changing around them. It's a very magical thing to do, actually, very magical place to be in, because God loves people who sacrifice pleasures. God loves people, like truly, God loves people who sacrifice materialistic pleasures. And God is not saying that you should just live in very bad conditions. God wants you to see how smart you are in recognizing what is actually a pleasure, or what is actually just an illusion of pleasure. Like a lot of people like to be in the comfort zone, but they say that the most uncomfortable place is actually the comfort zone, what people think it's a comfort zone. So, yes, some of you feel that maybe there's another person out there for you, or maybe you've met someone and you sense the whole twin flame dynamic, but in obviously a more advanced way. Or maybe some of you feel like disconnected from your twin flame, and you have, like taken that energy and you've not given it anywhere. You've started working on it, like you've started looking at it as a third party situation, not as something you're directly communicating with. So you're very smartly healing the whole thing, like why you met this person, why you went through these situations, why did you feel so much intensity. And some of you might have done a good amount of inner work when you met your twin flame. So you actually thought that the result of your inner work, the result of your penance, the result of your abstinence from a lot of things gave you that person. And when that person put you so much trouble and emotional pain, you got so damaged that you went back to doing the things that you had left. And then it was a realization that, oh my God, no, these are the things I said I will not do, but I'm doing these things. So, okay, this can't be healthy for me. So let me get out of it again. So when you get out of it again, like finally, then it's a final thing. So the twin flame situation connection might have also been one of your greatest tests. It might have been God's way of seeing that have you really changed yourself? Have you really done those things? Have you really, in that energy zone? So one test is given to you. And a lot of us, it's not a good thing or a bad thing, but a lot of us actually want to please that other person. We want to make that person happy. We want to say that this is my divine counterpart. So if my divine counterpart wants me to do something which I genuinely don't feel like doing, but they say that it's very important for them, then okay, let me just do it. Let me do it if it makes them happy. It could be so many things. I mean, especially pleasure oriented things, I would say, that you probably don't feel like doing, especially now. So you are 100% sure that, yeah, I don't want to do this. But at that time, it was more like, I'm going to do it only if it makes them happy. And then came a point where you realize that this trying to make the other person happy is actually damaging you in many ways, but you don't want to get damaged anymore, or you don't like that aspect of you, you just don't like that side of you. You just feel that this side needs to, just take rest, and the more healed and advanced version, the more esoteric, the stronger version needs to come. If you feel that if you're going to keep reacting to someone who is not uplifting you in any way, then how is that correct for you? So this swap of energy happens. Sometimes it happens in a physical way, like a walk-in is there, and that person who was in the twin flame dynamic, it becomes a false twin flame, or it becomes a catalyst twin flame, and a new connection is formed. So that's how it gets swapped into another person. Or as I just said, that you do it energetically, so you still remember that person, but you no longer feel like anything, you don't get impacted by anything, and you're like, God bless you, stay there, live your life. But every time you think of that person, something heavy, some negative energy, some negative memory, that this is what you need to work on, this is what you need to release. So yes, this is where I'm going to close this channeling session. You can work with me one-on-one. You can get into therapy with me. I have some wonderful therapies that help a lot of people, and sometimes people take one therapy and they're like, now I want to do the other one, now I want to do the third one, because they feel something has shifted in their life. And these things, you can feel it by experience. It's not something which is on paper. It is not a tangible physical thing. It's something that happens, a shift happens energetically and by your own experience, and then you feel that yes, there is a physical manifestation in terms of change in lifestyle, or as I said, not reacting to everything. The peace of mind, when you develop peace of mind, you've actually developed a lot, because I think the most difficult thing to achieve is peace of mind and contentment. Everything else you can get, but these two things have to work very hard for it. So yes, you can enroll with me in therapies. You can also get into single therapy sessions if you have something ongoing and it's like really troubling you, you cannot get out of it. You've been stuck into that trap or that rut or that dark feeling. You want to release that dark energy, but you're not able to do it by yourself, so you can get into that. And I also do readings with tarot and intuitive reading, where you can ask questions about your journey, about yourself, about even the other person, if you want to bring their questions related to them. So you can check out the description box, and you can write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com. And you can also get my book, In the Name of Love, A Journey of Finding Your Ultimate Soulmate. For those who want to support my content, you can do so by becoming a patron on Patreon. And yes, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for doing all the wonderful inner work. Those of you who are doing a mission, are on a mission, I'm so proud of you. You're just so lovely. You've gone through a lot, and this is the place to be. If you're naturally doing it, organically it is happening for you. So I will see you in the next video. One love, peace out, and don't forget, keep working on your solar plexus. Keep chanting Ram, Ram, Ram as much as you can. So victory to Ram, and yes, lots of love.